a werewolf shifter romance audiobook written by Katherine Stewart. Prologue. The obsidian walls of the Lycan stronghold pulsed faintly, a living heart of ancient magic beating in time with King Kaelen's own. He stood on the highest battlements, the wind whipping his dark hair across a face carved by duty and solitude. Below, his vast kingdom slept. A tapestry of forest and mountain stretched to the horizon, all under his unwavering protection. Every shift of the wind, every tremor in the earth, every whisper across the ley lines was known to him. It was a constant hum beneath his skin. This was the burden of his power. A crown heavier than any made of metal. He was king, absolute in his might, yet utterly alone. His wolf, an ancient, formidable presence within him, often paced restlessly. It yearned for a counterpart, a mate to share the immense weight he carried. But the fates had been silent. The throne, despite its grandeur, felt like a gilded cage built for one. Tonight, however, a new note had entered the ancient hum. A discordant, cold whisper, like frost creeping over pure spring water. His senses, usually a symphony of life and order, picked up a subtle tremor in the very fabric of the stronghold's protective wards. A faint, sickly scent of decay had no natural source. It was insidious, not a blatant assault, but a creeping poison. He sent out a tendril of his own power, following the unseen thread of corruption. He felt it worming its way through the deepest roots of the land, far beyond his immediate sight. A cold certainty settled in Kaelen's gut. Something dark was stirring, something that threatened the very essence of his domain. He was a king, a protector, and he would stand against it. But as he looked out at the sleeping kingdom, the vastness of his responsibility pressed down. For the first time in a long time, the unyielding strength of his wolf felt incomplete. A deep, primal ache resonated within him, a silent plea for a force to stand beside him, though he knew not who or what that might be. The biting cold wind whipped around Anya. It pulled at her thin, silver-gray fur. She shivered deep down to her very bones. She hunched low, hidden by the gnarled roots of an old oak, because staying hidden was her only way to survive. Her breath came out in misty puffs. From where she was, she could smell it. Oh, that smell. It was rich, hot, and meaty, the scent of fresh kill carried on the crisp morning air. And then she heard them, happy growls, loud, joyful howls. The Stonehaven pack. They were feasting, right out in the open, because they had no reason to hide. Her stomach rumbled, a hollow ache that had been with her for days. Still, she just watched. She saw their strong, dark furs, their muscles rippling as they tore at the deer. They were a family, laughing, sharing, and she was nothing, just a shadow, shivering at the edge. You know, it's funny how a smell can make your heart ache. Not only that, but it made her own wolf, usually quiet and timid, whine deep inside her chest. It yearned for a taste. More importantly, it yearned for belonging. Soon after, Alpha Orion, a huge black wolf with eyes like chips of flint, lifted his head. He was so big, like a walking shadow, because he was the strongest. His gaze swept over the forest. And then, those cold eyes locked onto Anya's hiding spot. Her breath caught. A growl, low and rumbling like thunder, left his throat. "Some wolves just weigh us down," he rumbled. His voice carried clearly, even in wolf form. It was deep. It was mean. A parasitic drain on our resources. That's why he turned to the younger wolves, a smirk on his muzzle. "Cleanse the territory of useless things," he commanded. Just like that, the younger wolves, all full of energy, bounded towards her direction. Not because they hated her, but because they wanted to impress their alpha. Rory's mind screamed. Her heart pounded so loudly she was sure they could hear it. She scrambled deeper into the roots, pushing, pulling, because getting caught meant, well, it meant the end. She'd seen it before. A lone wolf, driven out, left to starve or face other dangers all alone. In fact, Her memory flashed to a harsh winter, just 2 years ago. Orion had purposefully denied her a share of a crucial elk kill. What followed was a blizzard that left her shivering in the snow, praying for the sun because she was so cold she thought she would freeze. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't forget that feeling. Eventually, the younger wolves moved on. Their playful barks faded. They thought they had chased her away for good. As the silence stretched, the scent of fresh blood slowly faded, replaced by the bitter cold of the forest. And then, the gnawing ache in her stomach felt even heavier, because now she had nowhere to go. Deep down, she knew the truth. She was truly alone. Her world tilted. Her heart skipped. She didn't know what scared her more, the hunger or the crushing loneliness. Anya crept deeper into the forbidden borderlands. She had no other choice. Her paws moved silently over the damp earth, because every sound could mean danger. The mist, still lingering from dawn, wrapped around the ancient trees like ghostly shrouds. This part of the forest felt different. It was old, it was quiet, and it had secrets. She sniffed the air. Her senses, sharp like a hunting blade, picked up a faint, tangy scent. Not of animals, not of rain. It was like ozone after a lightning strike, but mixed with something sickly sweet like decaying flowers. She moved towards it because her hunger made her brave, even foolish. Soon after, she found it. A patch of ground where the moss was black and withered even though it was summer. The earth itself looked wrong, twisted. And then she saw a faint, unsettling glow under a cracked stone. It pulsed with a quiet, evil energy. Just like that, her wolf whimpered deep in her chest. "What is that?" she whispered to herself. Her voice was barely a breath, because no natural magic she knew felt this way. As if pulled by a string, she reached out a hesitant paw. But then, a jolt of cold, raw energy shot through her. It felt like being touched by ice. Her body moved on instinct, pulling back fast. A low growl rose in her throat, because this wasn't just weird, it felt dangerous. This strange, sick feeling was what elders called corrupt magic, right? They used to tell stories around the fire about places like this where old magic got twisted. Maybe it was fate, or maybe it was just dumb luck. But she knew she had to get away. Still, the mystery tugged at her. Why was this happening now? Not only that, but she felt a strange pull towards the glowing patch, a curiosity that fought with her fear. What could possibly be this strong, this weird, this far from any known pack? It was like the forest itself was holding its breath. Meanwhile, the faint scent of ozone grew stronger, mixing with something else now, a sharp metallic tang. It was the smell of fear. From there, a guttural snarl ripped through the quiet. Not her own, not even a wolf. It was something else. A human, maybe, but wild. And then, another snarl, deeper, angrier. It was the sound of a fight. Close, too close. Because of that, Anya pressed herself against a giant redwood tree. Her heart skipped. She felt it, clear as day, the tremor of heavy bodies crashing through the undergrowth. Her world tilted. She didn't know what scared her more, the strange glowing earth, or the sounds of brutal combat coming her way. Anya was trapped. The thick mist, which had seemed like a hiding place, now pressed in on her. She heard the familiar barks of Orion's pack from one side, because he was still trying to push her out. And then, from the other, came the sounds of that brutal fight. It was a terrifying symphony of snarls and grunts. She crouched low, her senses on high alert. The smell of ozone and dark magic was getting stronger. Mixed with it now was the sharp, metallic tang of blood. A lot of blood. Soon after, she saw them. Not Orion's pack. These were strange, shadowy figures, shifting like smoke, moving too fast. They shimmered, because they were made of corrupted earth and shadow. Umbrals. The nightmare stories were real. They were attacking a single, massive wolf-like creature. This creature was bigger than any werewolf she'd ever seen, like a mountain of muscle and dark fur. He wore hints of crimson and gold, even in the chaos. A royal guard, a Lycan. But then, the Lycan was overwhelmed. 2 umbrals sprang at his throat. He roared, a sound of pure defiance, but his movements were slowing. Anya's own wolf let out a frantic whine. She felt it, clear as day, a wrongness. It wasn't just a fight. It was a pure, brutal injustice. This Lycan, powerful as he was going to die, because he was alone. And Anya knew what being alone felt like. Too well. Suddenly, fury propelled Rory. It was a cold, hard knot in her belly. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't ignore it. She wouldn't just watch. Not again. Not when someone was truly helpless. In that moment, her body moved on instinct. Without thinking, she burst from her hiding place. She was a silver blur against the mist, small but fast. She slammed into an umbral, not with strength, but with a desperate, wild fury. It sent the creature sprawling. And then, she tore at another's leg, snapping at it, drawing its attention away from the Lycan. The Lycan, seeing her impossible charge, roared again. This time, it was a battle cry. He moved with renewed force, tearing through his remaining attackers. Just like that, the last umbral dissolved into black smoke. But then, a searing pain ripped through Anya's side. A rogue shard of corrupted earth, fueled by dying magic, had pierced her deep. Her vision swam. The metallic tang of her own blood filled her mouth. As her strength left her, she collapsed. She thought, this is it. This is how I die. Alone. As the sky darkened, a colossal shadow fell over her. Not an umbral, not a wolf. Something ancient, powerful, and utterly dominant. It was Kaelen. King Kaelen. His scent, rich and powerful, filled her lungs. His golden eyes, usually cold, held a flicker of surprise, then something possessive, primal. A low, dangerous growl rumbled from his chest, a promise of violence aimed at the lingering shadows. And just like that, everything changed. He scooped her up, a weightless bundle in his powerful arms. Her world tilted. She didn't know what scared her more, the crushing pain or the sudden overwhelming sensation of being utterly, completely claimed. Anya felt herself being lifted. Not gently, like a mother wolf with her pup, but with a firm, powerful grip that still felt oddly safe. Her body slumped against something solid, warm. And then she smelled him. King Kaelen. His scent, that rich, earthy pine mixed with ancient power, filled her lungs. It pushed away the metallic tang of her own blood. Because of that, a shiver, not of cold, but of something deep and primal, ran through her. She felt herself being carried. Fast. So fast the world blurred even more. His low growl vibrated through her. It was a sound of furious possessiveness. It wasn't aimed at her. No. It was aimed at the fading shadows of the umbrals, a chilling promise of violence to anything that dared to harm his. Her world tilted. Her body felt weightless. In that moment, a strange warmth bloomed beneath her skin, chasing away the cold. It was like sunshine on a long frozen patch of earth, because this warmth was from Kaelen. It was the mate bond. She didn't know what it was then, not really, but her wolf, quiet for so long, stirred deep inside her. It let out a soft, contented purr. Soon after, the rushing stopped. She felt herself being laid down. Softly, the air grew still. The scent of pine and rich earth stayed close, wrapping around her like a warm blanket. But then a sharp, cleansing scent of herbs took over. Someone was cleaning her wound. Her side burned. Still, the warmth from Kaelen's presence, even from a distance, soothed her. She drifted. Her thoughts spun, full of the Alpha's strong hands, his deep growl, the safety she hadn't known in, well, ever. Eventually, the pain faded to a dull throb. She felt clean, bandaged. She didn't know what would happen next. Would he just leave her somewhere? Just toss her back into the wild? She didn't know what scared her more, being alone again, or the strange new feeling that screamed belonging. Her mind fought it, because how could she belong anywhere? As the silence stretched, she tried to remember the last time she felt safe. It was never. Not truly. And just like that, her mind went blank. The dark claimed her.
Anya woke up. The first thing she noticed was how soft the bed was. So soft it felt unreal. Sunlight, thick and golden, streamed through tall, arched windows made of dark, shining stone. This was no den. This was a room. A big one. It smelled of old wood, faint spices, and Kaelen. Always Kaelen. She slowly pushed herself up. Her side throbbed, but it was tightly wrapped. She saw the intricate carvings on the ceiling, the rich tapestries on the walls. Where was she? Before she could move, King Kaelen stood by the window. He was so big, so still, like a statue carved from power. He turned. His golden eyes, bright and clear, met hers. They held a raw, intense gaze that made her breath catch. He walked towards her. Every step was quiet, powerful. And then, he sat on the edge of the bed. His presence filled the room because he was simply too much to take in. "You are awake," he rumbled. His voice was low. It was deep. It vibrated through her, making her inner wolf purr with a strange, contented warmth. Anya tried to speak. Her throat felt dry. Where am I?" she croaked. "My home," he said simply. His hand, large and warm, reached out. It gently took her smaller one. His thumb traced circles on her skin. "You are my mate. My fated mate." Her heart pounded. "Mate?" She pulled her hand back as if burned. No, you're wrong," she whispered. Her voice trembled. I'm a rogue. I'm nothing. Orion threw me out. How can I be anyone's mate, let alone a king's?" Shame burned her cheeks. She wanted to disappear, because this was too much to hope for. Kaelen's jaw tightened. Anya. Her name on his lips sounded like a promise. "The fates do not make mistakes. My wolf knows. I know." His gaze was absolute. He pulled her hand back, holding it firmly. "You are mine, and I will not let you go." His words were soft, yet they carried the weight of a decree. As fire bloomed beneath her skin, a shiver, this time of pure anticipation, traced its way down her spine. The space between them burned. Her soul answered. She didn't know what to say. He expected her to just accept it, after all she'd been through. This was a new kind of terror.
Anya quickly learned that being the mate of a king was not easy at all. Her recovery was swift because Lycan healers were truly amazing. But then, she was thrust into court life. A world of shining silks, tinkling laughter, and judging eyes. Everyone watched her, every move, every bite she took at the grand feasts. Her stomach clenched. She felt clumsy, out of place, like a wild animal trying to fit into a china shop. She didn't know what fork to use. And then, there was Lady Seraphina. Oh, you know Seraphina, she was beautiful, so beautiful, like a tall, elegant willow. But her eyes, dark and sharp, held pure venom every time they landed on Anya. Seraphina, with her smooth, honeyed voice, would whisper things. "A rogue? Here? Imagine!" Or, "The king must be confused." Not only that, but she would make sure everyone heard. Anya's face would burn, because those whispers cut deeper than any cold wind. One evening, at a formal gathering, Seraphina sauntered over. "Anya, dear," she purred, her voice dripping like poison. "Do you even know our dances? Or will you stumble and disgrace our king?" A knowing smirk played on her lips. She made it sound so sweet, but Anya heard the sharp edge. Before she could move, Kaelen appeared, as if summoned. His presence filled the space, silent and deadly. He stopped right beside Anya, his strong arm wrapping around her waist. A primal grrr roll, low and vibrating, echoed in his chest. "Lady Seraphina," he rumbled. His voice was like thunder. "My mate requires no frivolous grace. Her strength is her elegance." His golden eyes, usually calm, blazed at Seraphina. They dared her to challenge him. Seraphina's smile faltered. Her eyes widened, just a bit. She gave a curt nod. "Of course, Your Majesty." And then she quickly walked away, like a shadow fleeing light. Kaelen's arm tightened around Anya. The air thickened. His scent, that powerful pine, wrapped around her. "You are safe," he murmured against her hair. His words were a balm, a promise. Later that night, in the quiet of her chambers, Kaelen visited. He watched her for a long time. Then he spoke. "You have a wild spirit, Anya," he said, his voice soft. "It needs shaping. I will train you, personally." He paused. "Will you trust me?" His question hung in the air. Anya looked at his strong, kind face, his belief in her, his body. Her soul answered. A shiver, both of fear and deep desire, ran through her. This training wouldn't just be about fighting. She knew that. It would be about everything. About them. Come morning, Anya found herself in a massive training ground. It was hidden deep within the stronghold because Kaelen didn't want curious eyes. Sunlight streamed through openings in the high stone walls, making dust motes dance. Kaelen stood there, all muscle and power, waiting. He wore simple leather pants. His skin, smooth and dark, gleamed with sweat. And then her heart started to pound. This wasn't just about fighting. She knew that. "We start with basics," he rumbled. His voice was low. It vibrated through the air, and her wolf purred deep inside her. "Footwork, balance, every move must mean something." So he moved. She tried to follow. He was fast, so fast, like a blur. Anya stumbled because her small frame wasn't built for Lycan power. "Again," he said, his voice firm, never angry. In fact, his patience was like a warm blanket. Soon after, his hands were on her. Strong, calloused. They guided her hips, adjusted her stance, nudged her shoulder. Every touch sent a jolt of pure heat through her. It was fire blooming beneath her skin. He leaned close. "Feel your body, Anya. It's a weapon. It's a shield." His scent, pine and sweat, filled her senses, making her head spin a little. She felt his strength, his control. And just like that, her body responded to him, listening to his commands even when her mind protested. Later, he led her to a glowing crystal, sitting alone in the center of the training grounds. "Touch it," he commanded. "Feel its power. The nexus hums through it." Her wolf, usually timid, quivered with a strange mix of fear and yearning. She hesitated because she was scared of what might happen. What if she broke it? When her hand met the cool, smooth surface, energy surged. It was too much. Her body hummed. Silver light flared around her, making Kaelen take a step back. But then, the light crackled, hurting her skin, like tiny needles. She cried out, "It burns!" Kaelen was there in an instant. He covered her hand with his own. His warmth calmed the pain. "Easy, little wolf. It's too much at once." He guided her, showing her how to just feel it. Not pull, just feel. "You have a deep connection, Anya. A lunar connection." His eyes full of wonder met hers. "It's yours." And just like that, her fear changed. It became a thrill, a promise. She didn't know what it all meant, but with him beside her, she wanted to find out. Anya tried hard at court, really hard. She wore the beautiful silks Kaelen gave her. She tried to remember all the fancy names and the bowing rules. But it was like walking a tightrope over a pit of vipers. Every meal, every gathering, felt like a test. Because Seraphina was always there, watching, waiting. One evening, During a grand feast, Serafina sauntered past. She wore a dress like spilled moonlight because she always wanted to be the brightest. As she passed Anya, her elbow accidentally brushed against Anya's goblet. Red wine sloshed. It stained Anya's new silk gown. A gasp rippled through the nearby nobles. Serafina offered a sickly sweet smile. "Oh, my dear. How clumsy of me. So sorry. It seems some people just aren't suited for our refined ways." Her voice dripped like poison. Anya felt her face burn. Shame. It was that old, familiar feeling. Her heart pounded. She wanted to shrink, to disappear. Just like that, her wolf whimpered inside her. But then a flicker of that lunar power, learned from Kaelen's touch, surged through her. Without thinking, she focused. Her fingers, hidden by the folds of her gown, tingled. And just like that, the wine stain began to dry. Faster and faster until it was gone. Completely. A hush fell. Serafina's smile dropped. Her eyes widened. A beat later, some of the older Lycans murmured. They looked at Anya with new eyes. Because they had seen it too. A rogue? With magic? Before she could speak, Kaelen was there. He moved like a shadow. His hand landed on the small of Anya's back, a warm weight. His scent, dominant, possessive, flooded her senses. His presence alone made the air thicken. His golden eyes, usually calm, blazed at Serafina. "Lady Serafina," his voice rumbled. It was low. It was dangerous. "My mate requires no frivolous grace. Her strength is her elegance." He pulled Anya closer, a silent claim. "You should be more careful." Serafina's face paled. She gave a stiff nod. "Of course, Your Majesty." And then she walked away, her silky gown swishing, like a snake retreating. Kaelen's arm tightened around Anya, a silent promise. The tension broke. Her pulse raced. In the quiet that followed, Anya looked up at Kaelen. His fierce pride in her, clear in his eyes, felt warmer than any fire. She didn't know what this new power meant, but she knew Kaelen believed in it. And her. That night, Kaelen visited Anya's chambers. The air inside felt heavy with unspoken things. She sat by the window, watching the moonlight paint the garden silver. Her heart beat a slow, steady rhythm. He stood by the door, just watching her. His presence was a warm weight in the room. His scent filled her lungs, making her wolf stir. She knew this moment was coming. She felt it with every heartbeat. "Anya," he finally said. His voice was soft, rough, like worn velvet. She turned. Her breath caught. His golden eyes held a hungry focus. They burned with a silent fire. He walked towards her, slowly, deliberately. Each step felt like a drumbeat. "You are magnificent today," he murmured. He reached for her, his large hands cupping her face. His thumbs brushed her cheeks. His touch was so gentle, so warm. It sent shivers down her spine, because his touch was a promise. I don't know what I did," she whispered. Her voice trembled. She was still scared of that power, of all this newness. "You defended yourself. You accepted your strength," he countered, his gaze unwavering. "And you are mine, little wolf." His words were a low rumble, and then he leaned down. His lips, warm and firm, found hers. The kiss was slow, deep. It tasted of pine and raw power and something utterly masculine. Anya's mind spun. Her world narrowed. Her bones remembered him. This was what she had always craved. This was the acceptance she'd never known. His arms wrapped around her, pulling her flush against her hard, muscular body. Her hands tangled in his dark hair. The space between them burned. Her body answered his call because her wolf recognized its mate. She felt the heat, the want, pooling low in her belly. He lifted her easily, carrying her to the bed. His eyes never left hers, full of a raw, primal desire that thrilled her to her core. He claimed her slowly, tenderly. With every breath they shared, their souls intertwined. Their wolves purred in unison, a deep, contented rumble. This wasn't just physical. It was a joining of spirits, a healing. For the first time, Anya felt truly, utterly whole. In the quiet that followed, nestled in his arms, the pervasive loneliness of her past vanished. She had found her place. She had found him. But then a faint, unsettling tremor ran through the stronghold. It was a subtle thrumming, far away, like a sick heartbeat under the earth. Kaelen stiffened, his golden eyes hardening. His touch, though still gentle, became watchful. The world, even their perfect bubble, was still out there. And it was stirring. The unsettling tremor from the night before wasn't a one-time thing. Soon after, it became a dull ache in the heart of the Lycan stronghold. Anya felt it constantly now. It was a sickening thrumming under her skin, like a discordant note in a beautiful song. Not only that, but strange things began to happen across the Lycan lands. Springs, once clear and sparkling, grew murky. Ancient trees, pillars of strength, looked tired. Their leaves browned at the edges. Because of that, a subtle weariness seemed to cling to even the strongest Lycans. Their movements felt slow. Their growls lacked their usual fire. Kaelen was furious. He spent his days in tense meetings with his advisors, his jaw tight. Reports poured in. "The borders feel thin," one guard commander reported. "Our patrols feel drained," another added. Kaelen wanted to send out massive scouting parties. He wanted to bolster every single ward. But then, some of the Lycan council members, old and set in their ways, hesitated. Lord Valerius, a gray-furred elder, stroked his beard. "Perhaps, Your Majesty, this corruption is simply natural aging, or perhaps it's a consequence of unnatural alliances?" His gaze flickered towards Anya, a silent accusation. Because some still believed Anya brought bad luck. Anya felt her heart sink. She was a rogue. She knew what it was like to be blamed. But this was different. This felt like a real spreading sickness, not her fault. Deep down, she knew the truth. This was worse. Much worse. What followed was a meeting where the air grew thick with tension. Kaelen argued for action, his voice a low rumble. "This isn't nature, Lord Valerius. This is an active blight, a magical one." He knew. He felt it too. Anya just watched, her hands clenching, because she wanted to help. She wanted to yell at them to listen to him. Still, the resistance from the council members was strong. They feared the unknown. They feared change, and they feared anything that might weaken Kaelen's power, because some had their own secret ambitions. Anya looked at Kaelen. His brow was furrowed. The weight of his crown pressed down on him heavier than ever. She desperately wanted to ease his burden. Could she? She felt the corrupted hum more keenly than anyone. Maybe it was fate. Maybe it was just her unique sensitivity. She didn't know what scared her more, this spreading decay or the helplessness she felt. After that frustrating council meeting, Kaelen took Anya by the hand. His grip was firm. His golden eyes held a strange intensity. "There is something I must show you," he said. His voice was low. It was serious. He led her deep within the stronghold, past guards who bowed low. They went down winding stairs, through ancient, silent tunnels, because this place was a secret. The air grew colder, more potent. Eventually, they reached a massive circular chamber. It was filled with a soft, pulsing light. In the center, a huge, raw crystal hummed with power. This was the Lycan Nexus, the very heart of the kingdom's magic. Anya felt it, clear as day, a powerful draw, like coming home. Her wolf quivered. "This is the Nexus," Kaelen explained. His voice was reverent. "And you, Anya, you have a connection to it, unlike any I have seen in centuries." He turned to face her, his gaze unwavering. "Your silver fur, your unusual senses, the way you instinctively fought the umbrals." He reached out, gently touching a strand of her hair. "You are a lunar shifter. a lineage thought to be extinct, a direct conduit to this nexus. Anya's breath caught. Lunar shifter? The words felt too big, too important. She was a rogue, worthless. How could she be that? No, she whispered. Her voice trembled. I'm just Anya. The core emotional question screamed inside her. How can I accept this power? How can I wield something so vast when I couldn't even stand up for myself before? You must touch it, Kaelen urged. His voice was soft, but firm. Without fear. Let it welcome you. He took her hand. His warmth spread through her, chasing away the terror. As her fingers brushed the crystal, energy surged. It wasn't painful this time. It was pure, overwhelming. Her body hummed. Her silver fur began to glow with an ethereal, living light. It pulsed. It beat like a second heart. And then she felt the nexus. Not just felt it, but became it. Power flooded her, ancient and vast, flowing through her veins like molten moonlight. Just like that, her fear changed to a thrill, a profound sense of purpose. She was more than just a rogue. She was something ancient, something powerful. A beat later, the entire chamber began to shake. A distant boom echoed through the walls. The nexus light flickered, then intensified, because it was reacting to a sudden, violent intrusion. Kaelen's golden eyes hardened, his hand gripping Anya's tightly. Alarms blared, a harsh, ringing sound that tore through the sudden peace of the nexus chamber. Kaelen cursed, pulling Anya with him as they rushed back into the stronghold's main passages. The air was thick with the acrid smell of ozone and burnt stone. Explosions rocked the fortress. Boom, boom. The very walls seemed to groan in protest. This was worse than anything Anya had felt before. She felt it, clear as day, the sickening spread of corrupted magic, twisting the ley lines, tainting the stronghold's very core. It felt like a spreading bruise. They're not just attacking the walls, Anya gasped, her voice raw. Her senses were screaming. They're poisoning the magic. She saw it now. The explosions were perfectly timed. They aimed to destabilize the nexus, to weaken it before something else could happen. This was a direct assault on the Lycan heart. Kaelen roared, a pure, primal sound of fury. His golden eyes blazed. He pushed Anya behind him, pulling out his ancient carved blade. Lycan guards rushed past, clashing with shadowy figures that phased in and out of sight. Umbrals. More of them than ever. But then, a group of Lycan guards, their eyes milky and distant, turned on their own kind. Their movements were sluggish and corrupted. It was a terrifying sight. This was an unexpected twist. At the same time, Lady Seraphina appeared. She was frantic, her elegant robes askew. She saw Anya glowing faintly from the Nexus's energy. And then a desperate, ugly malice twisted her face. "It's her!" Seraphina shrieked, pointing a trembling finger at Anya. Her voice was sharp. It was loud. "The rogue! Her unnatural magic is causing this! She's corrupting us!" Her voice carried over the din of battle, because she wanted everyone to hear. Some Lycans paused. They looked at Anya with fear. Before the words left her lips, Kaelen moved, like a thunderbolt. He slammed Seraphina against a wall, his hand tightly gripping her throat. His wolf, a low, guttural grrrl, vibrated through the stone. "Silence!" he roared. His voice was pure command. It vibrated through the chamber. "My mate is the purest connection to the Nexus! Her power defends us, you fool!" His eyes, blazing with untamed fury, dared anyone to challenge him. Seraphina choked, fear stark in her eyes. Kaelen didn't hesitate. He tossed her aside like a broken doll. And then, he grabbed Anya's hand, his grip tight, unwavering. "They seek the Nexus itself, Anya," he growled. "You are the only one who can truly stop them." His voice was grim. It was resolute. The air thickened with magic and smoke. His scent, strong and unwavering, anchored her. His heart pounded. She felt it, clear as day, the heavy pulse of the Nexus inside her. This was it. No turning back now. Anya didn't hesitate, not for a second. When Kaelen roared, "They seek the Nexus, you are the only one who can truly stop them." Her wolf pressed forward, and she let it happen. She pulled her hand from his, because she knew he had to fight the umbrals in the main hall. She had a different path, a more dangerous one. She darted through a crumbling archway, leaving Kaelen behind. It hurt, leaving him. But she had to go. The stronghold was groaning. It was like a living thing, bleeding darkness. The beautiful stone walls were now slick with dark, oily ichor. It smelled like death and burnt magic, a sickly, sweet scent that made her nose crinkle. The air grew heavy, like thick syrup, because the Obscura Shard's influence was spreading fast. She saw cracks spiderwebbing across murals that had stood for centuries. Ancient guardian spells, shimmering shields of light, flickered and died as she passed. It was terrifying. She could feel it, clear as day, the insidious drain on the Lycan's life force. She passed warriors, fierce moments ago, now slumping against walls, their muscles quivering, their golden eyes dull. Her chest ached. She hated this creeping rot. She pushed harder, running through passages that twisted and turned, following the strongest pull of corrupted magic. Her own lunar light, usually soft, now pulsed with a fierce urgency because it fought against the darkness. Soon after, she met her first direct obstacle, a small group of umbrals, shadowy figures made of malice and smoke, shimmered into her path. They snarled, their forms shifting. Without thinking, Anya channeled the light from the Nexus. Silver energy erupted from her paws, blasting them backwards. They hissed, dissipating into foul-smelling smoke. It was a small victory, but it made her heart pound with a strange mix of fear and power. Not only that, but it showed her she could fight this. As a result, she pushed even faster, deeper. She was just a rogue, right? But now, she was protecting. She was fighting. And she was doing it for Kaelen, for his people. The realization burned like a hot coal in her chest. Deep down, she knew the truth. She wasn't running from something anymore. She was running to something. She was running to save. Her world tilted. She didn't know what would happen next, but she knew she had to keep going. Anya reached the entrance to the sacred Nexus chamber. It was dark, ominous. But then, a hulking figure stepped out of the shadows. It was a Lycan, a royal guard captain, in fact. His armor was dented. His golden eyes, usually clear and sharp, were milky and distant. They burned with a faint, corrupted glow. His growl was ragged, full of pain, because the Obscura Shard's magic had twisted him. "Stop," the captain rasped. His voice was a strangled sound, half growl, half plea. He lifted a massive clawed hand, poised to strike. His body moved on instinct, but his wolf fought him. Anya felt it, clear as day, the intense pain inside him, a loyal Lycan trapped in a corrupted shell. What's worse, he was struggling. He wasn't fully gone. Anya knew she couldn't just hurt him. She couldn't kill him. He was a good Lycan, a protector. So, instead, she stood her ground. Her own silver light, pure and strong, pulsed around her. "Fight it!" she cried, her voice trembling but firm. "Fight the dark! You are a Lycan, a protector!" The captain roared. He lunged, a blur of corrupted muscle. Anya moved, light and fast. She dodged his massive swipe, felt the wind of it. But then she didn't strike back with force. No. She pushed. She channeled pure lunar energy from her core, right into his chest. It was a wave of light. It was warm. It was cleansing. The captain bellowed. The dark glow in his eyes flared, then dimmed. He fought her, he snarled, he tried to resist the purity. With every heartbeat, she pushed more light. She focused. "Remember your oath," she urged him. "Remember your king." The purity flowed from her, battling the corruption inside him. His body trembled, and just like that, the dark glow in his eyes faded. He slumped. He fell to his knees, panting, looking bewildered but clear. The corruption was gone. A growl rose in her throat. Not her own. Kaelen burst into the chamber. He was battered, bruised, but his golden eyes were blazing with a fierce pride. He saw the captain, purified. He saw Anya, glowing. "My queen," he murmured, his voice rough with awe. He didn't question. He just knew. He nodded. "Go, my love. Finish this." As if fate demanded it, Anya nodded back. She stepped past the dazed captain, the Nexus chamber now within sight. The final confrontation waited. Anya pushed into the Nexus chamber. The air inside felt cold. It was thick with dark magic. In the center, High Weaver Malachor stood. He was gaunt. His eyes were like chips of black ice. He held the Obscura shard in his hand. It pulsed with a sickening dark glow, because it was absorbing the very light from the Nexus. He was moments away from pushing it into the Nexus core. This was it. "Stop!" Anya cried. Her voice echoed. It was just her. Alone. Malachor turned. A slow, chilling smile spread across his face. It was like a crack in a frozen lake. "The little rogue found her way here," he purred. His voice was raspy. It was old. Impressive. But this world will be reshaped by my will, Lycan. He lifted the Obscura shard. Its dark light intensified. "Your king thinks he protects. He builds. But I twist." He looked at Anya, his eyes glinting. "I will not destroy your precious Lycan empire," he explained. His voice was calm. Too calm. "No. I will corrupt it. Turn its strength into a conduit for my darkness. Your pure magic, your strong wolves. They will become my instruments. They will live in perpetual twilight because their very essence will feed me." He laughed. It was a dry, hollow sound. "And this Nexus? It will become my ultimate tool. Its light will darken. Its power will flow to me." Anya felt a wave of icy despair. Her heart ached. This wasn't just about fighting, it was about twisting everything good. "What's worse," Malachor gestured, and dark, shadowy chains erupted from the ground, lashing out at her. They were like serpents, aiming to bind her. She instinctively flared her lunar light, pushing back, but the chains were relentless. She knew she couldn't outrun them. "You are a mistake," Malachor sneered, "a useless flicker in the coming gloom. Your love is a weakness, little rogue." His words, sharp and cruel, aimed to pierce her heart because he knew her past. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't entirely shake the chilling feeling of his words. Her wolf pressed forward, desperate. This was his plan. This was the trap. She had to break it. And she had to do it for Kaelen. For his world. The air thickened. Time stood still. Malachor laughed. It was a dry, hollow sound, like bones rubbing together. Dark, shadowy chains had erupted from the ground, swirling around Anya. They were like serpents, aiming to bind her. She instinctively flared her lunar light, pushing back. But the chains were relentless. She knew she couldn't outrun them. "You are a mistake," Malachor sneered. His voice was cold. It was cruel. "A useless flicker in the coming gloom. Your love is a weakness, little rogue." His words, sharp and cold, pierced her heart. It wasn't just his voice. It was his magic. It wasn't physical. It was worse. His power twisted. It dug into her mind. And then visions assaulted her. They were sharp. They were real. She saw Orion's sneering face looming large, his cold eyes filled with disgust. "Some wolves just weigh us down." She felt the bitter wind of that brutal winter, shivering alone as the pack feasted, her stomach cramping. She saw the other wolves, their backs turned, their laughter echoing. Seraphina's venomous whispers wrapped around her like icy tendrils. "A rogue? Here? Imagine." Her own inner voice, small and broken, echoed back. "You are nothing. You always have been nothing." Because he knew her past. He knew exactly what wounds to poke. "Why fight for those who would have cast you out?" Malachor's voice slithered into her mind. It was a serpent, coiling around her last threads of hope. The corrupt magic drained her lunar light. It felt like her very soul was being squeezed, because his power thrived on her despair. Her glowing silver fur flickered. It dimmed. Anya cried out, a sound torn from her throat. Her body trembled, pushed to the brink of collapse. She couldn't fight him. Not like this. No matter how hard she tried, the visions would not fade. They were real. They were her truth. Her heart ached with the familiar pain of utter rejection. She was a rogue. She had always been one. Maybe she was destined to die alone. Why was she even trying? What was the point? The pervasive self-doubt she thought Kaelen had healed now roared to life, louder than ever. The distant, furious roar of Kaelen's wolf cut through the mental assault. It was a desperate sound, full of a fierce, protective love. For a brief second, the visions flickered. Anya gasped, sucking in a breath of pure air, trying to push Malicor's tendrils away. But then Kaelen burst into the chamber. He was battered, bruised. Blood stained his powerful shoulder. He'd faced so many umbrals, so many corrupted guards. His golden eyes, usually blazing with untamed fire, were clouded with pain. Malicor's chilling smile widened. Ah, the king. Just in time for the final act. Kaelen roared again. It was a primal sound of pure fury. He lunged at Malicor, a blur of muscle and rage. But the High Weaver was ready. Dark, crackling chains, thicker than any Anya had seen, erupted from the floor. They wrapped around Kaelen. They coiled around his strong limbs. They bound him tight. Kaelen struggled. He thrashed. He snarled. But the chains held him fast. He was helpless. "Your strength is wasted," Malicor hissed, walking slowly towards the bound king. His touch was cold. It was cruel. He placed a hand on Kaelen's chest, directly over his powerful Lycan heart. And then, Kaelen cried out, a raw, guttural sound of pure agony. Dark energy flowed from Malicor's hand, draining Kaelen's life force. His powerful form slumped. His golden eyes began to dim. "Your king dies," Malicor sneered, turning his gaze back to Anya, triumph shining in his black eyes. "Just like you were always meant to." Anya watched in horror. Kaelen, her anchor, her protector, the one who saw her worth, he was falling. He was bleeding. He was being drained. The old narrative screamed in her mind. I am a burden. My presence brings disaster. This was her deepest fear. Malicor's words, sharp and cruel, seemed to echo Orion's old threats, cutting through her heart. What's worse, her lunar light, which had glowed so brightly moments ago, flickered down to almost nothing. She was helpless, utterly helpless. Anya fell to her knees. The cold weight of utter despair settled in her chest. It was heavier than any stone. Malicor laughed. His dry, hollow sound filled the chamber, because he had won. He had won everything. Kaelen's powerful body slumped further in the dark chains, his breathing shallow. His golden eyes, still fixed on her, began to lose their light. "You are nothing," Malicor sneered again. He stood over her, his shadow falling like a shroud. "And soon, he will be nothing. Your love is a weakness, little rogue. It always has been." His words were a dark echo of Orion's past cruelties. She remembered the frost biting her paws, the empty ache in her stomach. She saw herself, a small, shivering, worthless shadow, because Malicor's magic forced her to see it. It was her truth. The nexus, connected to Anya's despair, dimmed almost completely. Its bright, pulsing light flickered, then almost died, becoming a faint, struggling spark. Without her belief, without her fight, its power faded. Anya felt it, clear as day, the pure magic being strangled, turned. Her core emotional question resonated. I can't. I'm just a rogue. I'm not worthy. I can't accept this power or this love. Her transformation. It seemed to have utterly failed. She looked at Kaelen, his face pale, his breath ragged. He was dying. because of her. Her presence had brought him this doom. A raw, desperate cry caught in her throat, but no sound came out. She just looked at him, her heart shattering. She closed her eyes. Resignation washed over her. This was it. This was how it ended. The monster she was always told she was would be true. Malachor raised the obscura shard. Its dark light pulsed with malevolent glee. It was the color of a festering wound. It illuminated Anya's despair-ridden face. Just as he prepared to strike the nexus, to plunge the world into eternal twilight, a faint, fleeting memory flashed through Anya's mind. It was Kaelen's hand in hers, his low rumble of, "You are mine," the warmth of his love in their intimate moments, and then his scent, his powerful, life-giving scent. It was a spark, a tiny, fragile flame in the engulfing darkness. What if she wasn't nothing? What if she could fight? What if she truly was his? The air thickened. Time stood still. Malachor's dark magic pulsed. It was a cold weight. Anya lay on the ground, despair crushing her because Kaelen was dying. The nexus dimmed, its light almost gone. But then, a faint fleeting memory flashed through Anya's mind. It was Kaelen's strong hand in hers, his low rumble of, "You are mine," the warmth of his love in their intimate moments. And then, his scent, so powerful, so life-giving. It was a spark, a tiny, fragile flame in the engulfing darkness. What if she wasn't nothing? What if she could fight? What if she truly was his? Deep down, she knew the truth. Orion's words meant nothing now. Only Kaelen's words mattered, his belief, his absolute love. Because of that, a surge of fierce, pure love, not just for herself, but for him, rushed through her. It pushed back against the despair. Her vision cleared. Kaelen, bound and weakened, still looked at her, his golden eyes dim, but filled with unwavering faith. He was waiting for her. Her heart ached, not with pain now, but with a new kind of resolve. She refused to let him fall. Not now. Not when he believed in her so fiercely. The core emotional question that had haunted her for so long finally had its answer. Yes, she could accept and wield this love and power because it's for him. It's for us. Her silver fur, which had flickered and dimmed, began to glow again. Brighter this time. Stronger. It wasn't just power now. It was love. As a result, she pushed herself up. Her muscles screamed, but she didn't care. Malachor, sensing her renewed energy, sneered. A last flicker of defiance? Useless. He dismissed her. But he was wrong. She looked at him with cold fury. Her gaze then fell on the chained Kaelen, and a desperate, impossible plan formed in her mind. What if she could become the nexus? What if her life, her very being, could protect it? The air thickened. Time stood still.
Anya stood firm. Her lunar light pulsed, pushing back against the dark tendrils of Malachor's magic. She had her plan. It was risky, maybe crazy, but it was the only way. Malachor wanted to corrupt the nexus. He couldn't corrupt what was purely one with it. She had to merge, truly become the nexus, not just connect to it, but be it. And then, he couldn't corrupt it without destroying her, and himself, because if she was the nexus, she would be too bright for his darkness. She looked at Kaelen. His eyes, though dim, watched her. She sent a thought, a silent plea through their mate bond. I will become the nexus. I will protect it. You must break free when I draw his power. It was a risky move, but she knew Kaelen would understand. He had to. She focused her intent. She channeled her growing power, not to attack Malachor directly, but to send a surge of pure lunar energy towards the bound Kaelen. Just like that, a subtle crack appeared in one of his dark magical chains. It was a small thing, but it was a start. Kaelen's golden eyes flickered. He met her gaze. She saw a flicker of understanding, a shared resolve. He nodded, barely, a silent promise. He would fight. He would try. Deep down, she knew the truth. They were a team. They were mates. And they would face this together. His breathing, though still ragged, seemed to steady just a bit. "What are you doing, rogue?" Malachor hissed, his voice full of impatience. "Delaying your demise?" He raised the obscura shard higher, its dark light throbbing like a sick heart. He was arrogant. He was powerful. And he underestimated the power of love. He thought he had won. But he had missed the most important piece. He had missed the strength of a true mate bond. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't ignore the fear. But it was different now. It was a cold, sharp edge, not a crushing weight. She was scared, yes. But she was also determined. She was focused. She was going to make him regret underestimating her. What's worse, if she failed, everything would be lost. Kaelen, his kingdom, all of it. As the wind shifted, she took a deep breath. She had to win.
Anya didn't answer Malachor. Instead, she took a deliberate step towards the Nexus core. Its light, still faint, seemed to call to her. She felt its ancient power, a deep, resonating hum. She felt it, clear as day, waiting for her. With every step she took, her lunar light grew brighter. It pulsated from her silver fur because she was drawing the Nexus's energy into herself. Her body became a conduit, a living manifestation of its ancient power. Malachor's eyes narrowed. His smile vanished. "Foolish girl," he snarled. He still didn't fully understand. He saw her power rising, but he thought it was just a challenge. He thought she was trying to attack him directly. He believed he could overwhelm her, and then claim the Nexus's power. He was greedy, and that was his mistake. He moved first, without warning. Dark energy, thick and viscous, surged from the obscura shard. It lashed out at Anya like black lightning, aiming to consume her, to twist her light. It was cold. It was painful. It was a brutal assault on her senses. Anya braced herself, because she knew this would hurt. Her instincts surged. Meanwhile, Kaelen, watching from his magical bonds, struggled harder. His muscles strained against the dark chains. He gritted his teeth. He felt Anya's power rising. He felt her pain. He saw her unwavering resolve. His wolf roared, an internal sound of desperate effort. He had to be ready. He had to break free, because their lives depended on it. Anya's body trembled as Malachor's dark magic slammed into her. The air thickened. Time stood still. Her pure lunar light flared, meeting the dark torrent head-on. She wasn't just deflecting it. No, she was absorbing it. She was purifying it. It was like a sponge soaking up black ink and turning it pure white. Her body hummed with the raw power. It flowed into her, immense and surging. As fire bloomed beneath her skin, the Nexus's faint light now inside her pulsed with renewed strength. She was the Nexus, she was the defense, and she was ready. The space between them burned. This was it, the final showdown. Anya's body trembled as Malachor's dark magic slammed into her. The air thickened, time stood still. Her pure lunar light flared, meeting the dark torrent head-on. She wasn't just deflecting it. No, she was absorbing it. She was purifying it. It was like a sponge soaking up black ink and turning it pure white. Her body hummed with the raw power. It flowed into her, immense and surging. As fire bloomed beneath her skin, the Nexus's faint light, now inside her, pulsed with renewed strength. She was the Nexus. She was the defense. And she was ready. The space between them burned. This was it. Malachor shrieked, a raw, guttural sound of frustration. He stared at Anya, disbelief etched on his gaunt face. Impossible. No mortal can wield such purity. His attacks, meant to twist and corrupt, simply made Anya's light grow brighter. Because his dark magic, when faced with her pure essence, became nothing more than fuel. She was too bright, too pure. Meanwhile, Kaelen, watching from his magical bonds, struggled harder. His muscles strained against the dark chains. He gritted his teeth. He felt Anya's power rising. He felt her pain. He saw her unwavering resolve. His wolf roared, an internal sound of desperate effort. He had to be ready. He had to break free. And just like that, with a final, desperate surge of his own Lycan power, the dark chains around Kaelen shattered. Black fragments exploded around him. He was free. Kaelen roared, a primal sound of triumph and fury. He was battered, bruised, but his golden eyes blazed with untamed power. He lunged, a blur of dark fur and pure rage. He slammed into Malachor, pinning the High Weaver against the wall of the Nexus chamber. Malachor snarled, trying to lash out with dark magic, but Kaelen's grip was absolute. He held him there because he trusted Anya. "Now, Anya!" Kaelen bellowed, his voice a raw command. Anya didn't hesitate. She had saved him. She had saved the Nexus. This was for their future. With every heartbeat, she focused all the immense power within her. Her silver form erupted in a blinding, pure wave of lunar energy. It tore through Malachor's very essence. He shrieked again, a sound of pure agony as his twisted form disintegrated. He became shimmering motes of light, fully purified, then vanished into nothingness. The chamber filled with clean, sweet air, the pervasive dark scent gone. The chamber was silent. Only the soft, steady hum of the now purified Nexus filled the air. Anya's body still pulsed faintly with pure lunar light. She felt exhausted, but also utterly, completely alive. Kaelen rushed to her, his arms wrapped around her, pulling her close against his strong, warm body. His wolf purred against her, a deep, rumbling sound of pure contentment and fierce adoration. His scent, pine and victory, flooded her senses. She buried her face in his neck, breathing him in. "My queen," he murmured, his voice rough with awe. He gently cupped her face, his thumbs brushing away invisible tears. His golden eyes, full of love and a profound, unwavering pride, met hers. Soon after, the Lycan royal guard arrived. They had pushed back the remaining umbrals now that Malachor was gone. They saw Anya, still faintly glowing. They saw Kaelen, holding her. A hush fell over them. Then, the corrupted Lycan guard Anya had purified in the corridor stepped forward. His eyes were clear now. He knelt before her, head bowed. "My queen," he said, his voice husky with gratitude. "Thank you. You saved my soul." Anya smiled, a true, heartfelt smile. It made her whole face glow. She nodded. "You are free." Meanwhile, Lady Seraphina appeared, her elegant robes askew, her face pale and drawn. She had seen the raw power. She had seen Anya's light. Her venomous gaze was replaced with profound awe, perhaps even fear. She didn't speak. She just bowed, deeply, a silent acknowledgement of Anya's rightful place. The lingering corruption began to recede from the stronghold and the land, a visible cleansing washing over the Lycans. From there, the Lycan Council entered, their faces solemn but relieved. They looked at Anya with reverence, understanding her immense power and her sacrifice. There was no more questioning her place now. She wasn't just the king's mate, she was the living embodiment of their strength, the protector of their future. Kaelen's arm tightened around her waist, a silent promise of everything they had fought for. Days later, a grand ceremony was held under a dazzling full moon. It shone brighter than any seen in centuries, casting silver light across the now purified realm. The great hall of the stronghold buzzed with life and joy. Lycans, from the youngest pup to the oldest elder, gathered. They were all there to witness history. Kaelen stood before his entire court, his eyes fixed on Anya. He looked so powerful, so proud. He took Anya's hand. Her heart swelled, because this was everything she had ever dreamed of. He formally declared her his Lycan queen. Then, he placed a crown of intertwined silver and obsidian upon her head. It was beautiful. It pulsed with a soft internal hum, because it was connected to the Nexus's energy now living within her. This was her lineage. This was her power. "She is the light of our empire," Kaelen proclaimed, his voice ringing through the hall, thick with raw emotion and pride. "The heart of our home. She saved us all." His golden eyes, filled with undiluted adoration, never left hers. Anya, radiating confidence and power, stepped forward. Her voice, once timid, now resonated with authority and compassion. "My Lycan family," she began, her words clear and strong. "I promise unwavering protection, fierce justice, and a new era of prosperity." She spoke of unity. She spoke of hope. The Lycan people roared their approval, chanting her name, their Silver Queen. It echoed through the stronghold, a joyful sound. Kaelen pulled Anya close, his arm a possessive band around her waist, his nose buried in her glowing silver hair. Their wolves purred in unison, a deep, contented rumble. They looked out together at their peaceful, thriving kingdom under the brilliant moon. It was a powerful symbol of their unbreakable bond. And just like that, everything changed. Their love was an eternal flame. Their reign, a beacon of light against any coming darkness. Epilogue. The Reign of Light. Years later. The Lycan lands hummed with life and joy. The corruption Malachor tried to bring was long gone. Now fields bloomed, rivers ran clear. Laughter echoed through the forests. Anya and Kaelen walked hand in hand, their steps easy. She was utterly comfortable in her power, easily shifting between human and wolf form, her silver fur gleaming, a testament to her transformation. They built a strong, just reign. They loved fiercely, and they were truly, deeply happy, because they had each other. And just like that, their love radiated out, touching every corner of their vibrant kingdom. They were the king and queen, yes, but more importantly, they were a family.